All right, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mass Comparer back again with another comparison, and tonight we are doing a comparison between A Bug's Life and Antz. This is a viewer recommendation from Ethan King 7159, so big shout out to Ethan King 7159 for the recommendation. This is a pretty good one actually, because both films ended up coming out to about a 6.5 to a 7 in my reviews, so they are pretty close in quality, I would say, and they are both films about Antz, and so this is a pretty good recommendation, I would say. So once again, big shout out to Ethan King 7159 for the recommendation. And let us just begin, starting out off with the protagonist. So in A Bug's Life, you have Flick, and in Antz, you have Z. And I personally thought that Z was a better protagonist. I just liked his kind of attitude of like he's like very talkative, at the same time like self-conscious, and he wants to live life for himself, like basically make his own decisions. I thought that was a more interesting character than Flick, who basically just wanted to, he ends up like messing up, so he's like obligated to help out his colony. He's a good protagonist, but I just more so liked Z's personality, I would say. In terms of the deuteragonist, you have Princess Bala in Antz and Princess Ada in A Bug's Life. Yeah, I would probably give it to A Bug's Life. I would say Princess Ada, she was a more, yeah, I think I liked it. I didn't really care for either deuteragonist, to be honest, but I would probably give it to Princess Ada because I guess just her thing, or like motivation of just wanted, like she thinks that she won't live up to being a good queen, but she, and versus I guess Princess Bala, where she just, it's kind of similar to just Z in a way of she also just wants to make her own decisions and stuff. So I don't really, to be honest, I don't really care for either, but I think Princess Ada just maybe was a bit more entertaining, was a bit funnier maybe compared to Princess Bala, so I'm going to give it to A Bug's Life. In terms of the antagonist, I'm going to give this to A Bug's Life once again, because yeah, Hopper, I think that he was a fantastic antagonist. He's honestly, in recent memory, he is one of my favorite villains I've seen. I think just honestly a lot of it just goes to the performance of Kevin Spacey. Yeah, I know not a great dude from the allegations and stuff, but I do think that he did an excellent performance with the character, this very menacing grasshopper that wants to his intentions are not even to get food from the ants, it's just to like keep the social order of the grasshoppers being on top. I think that was very good. In contrast, you have in Antz, Mandible, who I also thought was a pretty serviceable antagonist of basically wanting to create a superior ant colony. He's basically a eugenicist. He doesn't think that the weak should survive. He wants only the strong to prosper and stuff. So it was fine, a good antagonist, but I definitely just think that Hopper really stole the show in A Bug's Life, I would say. In terms of the side cast, I'm going to give this to A Bug's Life. For one, Antz doesn't really have too much of a side cast. It's basically just Weaver and Azteca, as well as, I guess, I don't know, Cutter and some of the other worker ants and stuff. But in A Bug's Life, you had the whole circus crew, which I thought that they were very entertaining. Francis, Heimlich, Manny, the stick bug, I don't remember all their names, P.T. Flea and stuff. All of those side characters I think were very entertaining and very fun to watch. And so I'm going to give the side cast to A Bug's Life. In terms of the settings, I'm going to give this one to Antz. I thought that the Antz settings were, I think maybe A Bug's Life had like visually better settings, but I actually, in terms of like the settings of like where it takes place and stuff, I think that the actual colony of ants is set up better than the colony. Like in A Bug's Life, basically the colony area, it's just like underground. It's not very creative at all. In Antz, the actual colony area feels very creative, I would say. So I think we'll get to this later, but I think the visuals probably will. I can talk about it now, I guess. Yeah, we'll just talk about the visuals. I think the visuals of they're both are not great visuals. Both I think actually did come out in the same year, 1998. I'm pretty sure. But but they all both films did not really age the best in terms of the visuals. They both feel very dated, I would say. I'm going to probably still though give it to A Bug's Life because it does feel more colorful, I would say, compared to Antz, which feels a lot more, I guess, like gritty, I want to say, where A Bug's Life does feel still a bit more like cartoonish and stuff, and like definitely got some more colors going on in terms of the visuals. And so even if like both films, they feel very much dated, I still think that A Bug's Life does hold up a bit better, I would say, compared to Antz, which does feel very much like the CGI, the visuals definitely do not like. Neither film's visuals really hold up, but A Bug's Life just holds up slightly better, I would say. So visuals, I'm going to give to A Bug's Life. In terms of the plot, I'm going to give the plot to, I do like both plots, but I'm going to give it to Antz. I think that Antz had a better plot, I would say, of basically Z wanting to meet Bala, so he ends up going from worker ant to a soldier ant, making a decision for himself, and this leads to number one, it leads to like just that decision basically leads to a revolution among the worker ants. Z ends up going to war. He comes back from war. He ends up being branded as a war hero. He ends up taking Princess Bala like as hostage, and then they end up going on a journey to Insectopia. But then they bond along the way, so when she gets captured, he has to go save her and stuff. I think overall it was more interesting, I would say, compared to A Bug's Life, where it was basically it was also good of basically the grasshoppers threatening to like the grasshoppers threatening to hurt the ants if they don't like give them their food, and so Flick having to go on a journey in order to get warriors that could help protect the ant colony. So both plots are good, but I did find Antz a bit more interesting and entertaining to watch, I would say. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Antz. In terms of the comedy, I'm going to give this one to A Bug's Life. I think that A Bug's Life had a lot of good jokes, a lot of good comedy, a lot of good line deliveries from the characters compared to Antz, where I think Antz had some good moments, I think, where I did laugh out loud, but it mostly just came from Z and his dialogue, I would say. But yeah, definitely, not just Z, I think Weaver also actually had some good lines as well, but I do think that A Bug's Life just was consistently funnier, I would say. In terms of which one had the bigger cultural impact, definitely A Bug's Life. Antz was the first DreamWorks film, but definitely it is not talked about as much. Like, people probably know of A Bug's Life more so than Antz. Like, Antz definitely did not leave a big cultural impact, and A Bug's Life is definitely, it's a Pixar film that is known by a lot of people, I would say, so definitely A Bug's Life. In terms of, okay, the clothing category, this is like, yeah, one of the first instances of me doing a comparison where the clothing category just doesn't really apply, because I don't think either film really has clothing for any of the characters. Like, I guess you could say the ants have helmets, but yeah, that I mean, I guess that counts as clothing, but I don't know. I could maybe give a point. I don't think it's like great clothing though. It's not. It's like just a basic helmet. So by default, I'm just going to give a point to both because yeah, neither one really has clothing. In terms of equipment, I'm going to give this to A Bug's Life because you do actually have Flick with his inventions that are pretty cool, I would say. Like it's meant to like a machine that does make collecting nuts easier, and so I did find that pretty cool. Nice little invention that he had going on there, as well as the bird itself, like the bird that they end up inventing in A Bug's Life that is also, you could call it equipment, which I did think was also pretty good. And in contrast, Antz basically has the pickaxes, and besides the pickaxes, they don't really have, I mean, no, I was going to say maybe you can count the ant wrecking ball as equipment, but that's not equipment, that's just like a bunch of ants coming together to form a wrecking ball. So anyway, in terms of the actors / voice actors, now I think that both films had really good voice acting. I liked both Woody Allen and Kevin Spacey. Okay, both two actors that I've heard not good things about. Yeah, not allegations we're not going to get into, but I do think that even so, both like the performances of Z and Hopper, I think were very good in both films, and so I do think that yeah, Antz had great voice acting performances. A Bug's Life also had, I think A Bug's Life probably had overall, like there were more good performances, but I do think that Antz has still some solid performances, definitely. But I do think that probably A Bug's Life just has more overall better performances compared to Antz, which has the one really good Z voice acting performance. And I think like Z's is like very good and memorable. There's also like Barbados and stuff. Like Antz definitely has some good voice acting performances. But I do think that just the scope of maybe like how many characters there are in A Bug's Life does give it a bit more of an advantage because there are just more voice actors overall. But you know, to make things interesting, let's give a point to both because this does feel pretty close, and I do wonder who is going to come out on top. So I'm going to give a point to both. I think that both films had good voice actors, I would say. In terms of the soundtrack, I'm going to give this one. I do think that A Bug's Life had a decent soundtrack. It's like Pixar and stuff. Pixar movies usually have just a pretty decent soundtrack by default, but I do think that the Antz soundtrack was definitely had some good music, especially towards the start of the film and in the end with the end credits. Like while the credits are rolling, it does actually play a very catchy song, I would say. So I'm going to give it the point to Antz. And yeah, in terms of visuals, I already mentioned this, Bug's Life. I do think that the visuals just age better. So I'm going to I already gave the point to Bug's Life. In terms of the title, Antz with a Z, yeah, that's how it's spelled, and A Bug's Life, which one is better? I don't really like the title of A Bug's Life because it doesn't feel like necessarily the film is about like something like The Secret Life of Pets. That feels like it kind of made sense because it's like, okay, what are pets secretly doing in their... Even that's like not really a great film because it's like that's not necessarily what the pets are doing every day. But yeah, this doesn't necessarily feels this. I don't know. It doesn't feel like necessarily. I don't know. when you say something like The Secret Life of Pets or A Bug's Life, it makes you think like, okay, this is going to be about like the daily life of a bug or like pets or something like that. But this is about a specific adventure that happens to happen to, I guess, the bug in this instance, or I guess in that instance it would be the pets in The Secret Life of Pets. So yeah, A Bug's Life, it's a fine title. Antz is also like, I guess I'm gonna give it to Antz, I think, because I do like the creativity of, they titled it Antz, which very much just encapsulates what's the movie is about. It's about ants basically, but I do like just the fact that they called it Antz with a Z. I think that's, I don't know, just I guess a bit quirky, or I don't know about creative, but yeah, I do like that little detail of it. So I'm going to give the title to Antz. In terms of which one I personally like better, okay, this is a good one because I think both films end up coming, I think A Bug's Life, I think it marinates honestly pretty well, and I think I gave it around like a 6.5 on my review. It might come out to like a 7, honestly, like as I let it marinate. So, and I think that Antz also, like I just did my review for it, and I also gave it between a 6.5 to a 7. So I think both films are pretty much about between good and pretty good. And so, which one did I personally like better? I think probably, I don't know. I feel like comedic films are very much more rewatchable, and so when I'm thinking of which one I personally like better, a lot of the time I am just thinking of like which one do I want to rewatch more, and I think that's just the fact that A Bug's Life was a bit more comedic, and yeah, I think maybe A Bug's Life just had a bit more things going on with it, with like it's got really good antagonist, good comedy, the visuals hold up a bit better, I would say. Like those aspects just combined, I think make it a bit more personally better. But I do like I think the intro of Antz is a lot better than the intro of A Bug's Life, I would say. And so, yeah, I don't know. So the protagonist of Antz is better, I would say. So each film has like a lot of good things going on for it, but I do think probably I slightly like A Bug's Life personally better, I would say. I think it marinates a bit better, I'm going to give it. So yeah, personally, I do think A Bug's Life. But like, I think personally, I don't think I've ever given a point to both films in terms of the personal category, because the personal category is supposed to be what I personally prefer, and I think it's a bit of a cop out to say like, oh, I personally like both films equally. So I don't think I've done that up until this point. I'm not going to start doing that. So anyway, let us add up all these scores. So let's see here. We have Antz with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have A Bug's Life with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is 10 to 7 in favor of A Bug's Life. So A Bug's Life is the winner. So yeah, that big shout out once again to Ethan King 7159 for the recommendation. Very much do appreciate it. Anyone that has any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, manga, web series, anything that you want me to review or rank or compare rankings, this does not have to be media related. It could be anything. Please leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. With that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.